Hey, it's Dave Warder with GetSolarCalifornia.com. I put together a sample proposal here. Whenever I work with a client, I ask them to email me a copy of their current utility bill, and then I put together a solar proposal showing them how much they can save by going solar and getting off the high utility rates that they're currently on. So just wanted to walk through this. I think pretty much anybody on the planet knows about solar energy and how it works. We're going to put panels on your roof, and we're going to use that power to generate electricity for you right on site instead of transferring it in the way the utilities do at a higher cost. Um, so we're just going to do a quick introduction to solar energy. Then I'm going to talk about I'm based out of California. So in California, we're currently on the net metering 3.0 system, and what's changed with net metering 3.0 and why battery backup systems are so important now. So and then we'll talk about costs and tax credit versus tax rebate, and then also obviously the process that we use to put panels on your roof. So essentially, net metering 3.0. What's changed? The PG&E and the rest of the utilities in California, they lobbied the California Public Utility to change from 2.0 to 3.0. What does this mean? So in California, when we were on net metering 2.0, for every 1 kilowatt hour that your system produced, your utility gave you a credit of 1 kilowatt hour for storage to push back to the grid. So you were getting a great exchange of 1 to 1, and you were essentially using your utility as the battery during the day while your panels were working. So now they've changed from 1 to 1 to 4 to 1. For every 4 kilowatt hours you produce, you get a credit of 1 kilowatt hour with utility. So that's really changed a lot of things for a lot of people in California, and the industry has had to pivot and change. And how do we change? Where do we make up the difference? We're doing battery backup systems. So you add a battery to your system, and the difference between battery storage and battery backup is if you do a smaller battery, you're just using that for the time when you come home between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, when there's the high use times, when your utilities are charging you the most for your energy. You stored your solar energy into a battery. So you're using that as to power your home during the peak times. And there are different options. You can do a full battery backup of your home. So where I live, we lost power for a total of 15 days just this past winter. So I'm looking at adding. I already have solar panels, but I'm looking at adding batteries to my system, and I'll probably do at least 2 batteries because I want to do a partial home backup. So with one battery, you're doing essential loads. What do you want to power? Your lights, your microwave, your Wi-Fi. That's an important one. Some of us work from home, some of us have kids, and when the power goes out, they still want to use that Wi-Fi. So, and then if you're looking at 2 batteries, that's more of a partial home backup. And then 3 batteries, you can do a whole home backup with all the appliances and, probably a portion of your AC and heater. I mean, it just kind of depends on the size of the batteries that you use. And we do that assessment when we're working with homeowners, asking all the important questions about, let's look at what you're using right now and what you might be using in the future. So this is the first part of our solar design that we put together. It's nice because the homeowner can look at their own home and see this is where we put the panels. I've got pretty much all the panels that you can think of. We offer those when we're building a system, and several different inverters that are included with those panels. So this particular system, we built it at 8.5 kilowatts, which has a yearly production of 9,613 kilowatt hours. So I believe this particular customer, they were using, I think, 8,500 kilowatt hours was about in the neighborhood of what they're currently using. And so with solar, we do like to give customers the option to build a larger system than they have, or excuse me, use more, have the availability of more production than they're currently using right now. So usually with panels, you want to just go a little bit above what we're estimating your current and future usage is going to be, because people tend to use more energy when they have solar on their roof than when they're paying the high utility rates. So this is the current offset for this particular system was at 130% offset. So they're using more, they're producing more than they're currently using by the 30%. So I also like to show for every proposal, I like to show a cash option, and then I can also show a lease option. And there's also financing options as well. In California, we do really like to talk and partner with the local credit unions because they've got some great solar loans. So I like to show the cash option, and then I do show a lease option because that is also another way to finance a system. It depends on what works best for you. So some people, they have a higher tax burden. And that's where the credit comes in and makes a big difference because this also, sorry, I'm supposed to tell you that I am not an accountant and I'm not giving any tax advice. This is something that you should talk to your accountant about, especially with the tax credit, because it's a credit. It's not a rebate. It's not a check that the government is going to write you. If in this particular case, the cash price of the system was $42,280, the federal tax credit, which is 30% of that, comes out to $12,684. So this homeowner will be able to defer that amount of tax in the following year that they put solar panels on their roof. So if they have that tax burden, they'll use that in the first year, and it'll definitely be a benefit to them on their tax return. So their net system cost is $29,596. If you don't have that tax burden, then it's going to push out over several years. If you only had $3,000 in the tax burden that you could use for that credit, then it's going to go out over several years. So it's kind of up to the homeowner to decide what's the best situation. Am I going to use this tax credit, or is it going to be more likely that a lease would be a better option for me because I don't have that much of a tax burden. And with this particular system, I did add a small 3 kilowatt hour battery to it. So we're not trying to back up in the event of a power outage. We're just storing power to use when they come home from work and the utility is charging a high amount for the energy at night between the hours of 3 and 9. That's when it's always much more expensive to power your home. So you've used your solar energy, your panels have created energy all day. You store that into the battery, you come home and use it. So, and this is another part of the presentation where we show, here is the customer's energy consumption versus the solar production. And then obviously you're going to have more solar production during the summer months. And, if you're using a lot of electricity with your air conditioning, these are a good time to be generating a lot more, to have the ability to generate more solar production. So this is a lease option that I use just to show the monthly. So there are two different ways you can set up a lease. You can set up the lease where the monthly payments are at a fixed rate, so it's slightly higher, but it's fixed. It's never going to change. Or you can set up an adder. So we'll do a 2.9% per year is how the lease works, where it goes up 2.9% every year. But here's the 25 years. Here's exactly what their bill and what their energy bill is going to be for the next 25 years. It's kind of like, we use the analogy, if you could have locked in gas prices at $2.50, 10 years ago, and I'm talking California numbers here. So would you have done it? Of course you would. It's nice to have that sense of security that you've locked in that monthly payment. And electricity is an essential. We're all going to use it no matter what. So this is just a brief overview of the process. Step one is we get that bill and we create a savings report. So that's essentially, I've given you the short version of that in this quick presentation. So with the bill, we can put together that report. We can go over everything. We can assess the needs, the current energy needs, the future energy needs, and build the system out based on that. And then there's an approval process and there's some DocuSigns, but nothing is set until we get a site survey out. So I'm just doing an estimate. Either it's in-home or it's over a Zoom meeting, depending on the client, where they live and their, how much time they have to set up the meeting. But the site survey is very important. Nothing is really set until we get a site survey out and confirm all the numbers that we shared with the customer. Then we go into the permitting stage, and then after we have the permit, we schedule the installation. After installation, there's an inspection that's done, and then it goes to PG&E or whichever utility it is that you're using, and they do the system activation or the permission to operate. So this is always something that I like to share. I'm all about educating people about solar. That's the first thing I do. I've been in sales for a long time, but my passion is educating clients, because happy clients equal referrals for me, and that's what my business is based on. So I just want to make sure that the system is producing and doing everything that we promised the homeowner, and that they're happy. So I get referrals. So I also I work as a power broker, and we do have an ambassador program. So if you know a lot of people who you think could benefit from solar, you could sign up to be a solar ambassador. So you have a simple login, you ask your friend or family member for their utility bill, you upload that, I get pinged, I get notified, I create a presentation for them, and if they decide to move forward and put solar panels on their roof, then you get a $1,000 referral fee. So it's a great program, and it's a lot of people are going solar in California. So if you know someone and you want to do a referral system, then I'd be happy to help you set that up. So normally at this time in my presentation, I do a question and answer. In this case, this is something that I have uploaded to my YouTube channel at Get Solar California. So if there are questions, post them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer. And also, some of the easiest ways to do that is just to email me at dave@getsolarcalifornia.com. I'm also available, to call or text at 831-419-7604. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Thanks. We'll talk soon.